We have here the new TARMAC SL8 Pro in a size 49 in SRAM version, weighing at 16 pounds 6 ounces. I'm not shaking, you're shaking. 7.37 kilos. Stay tuned after the video. We are free to buy contest on those DT Swiss 350s right there. 2024 Specialized TARMAC SL8 S-Works in a size 49, weighing at 6.79 kilos. And in pounds, 15 pounds 1 ounces. Stay tuned after the video. We are free to buy contest on that wheel right there. All right, so you guys just saw that weight right there. And in today's video, I'm going to talk about the differences between Specialized's top tier S-Works bicycle right here, which is $14,000, compared to their next tier down, which is a Specialized TARMAC SL8 Pro, which is $8,500. We're going to be talking about the differences between the two models and what makes it that $5,500 price point difference. One, obviously you saw right there, was the weight. We are very lucky because of the fact that these bikes are both in the SRAM version, both very identical to each other, and also they're both the same size. So we have a 49 there, and that is a 49 as well. They're both equipped with the out front mount with the exact same configuration. So this is a really good kind of test to show you guys the difference. Now, right off the bat, like I said, the biggest thing we're gonna see between these two bicycles is you have the price point. One comes in at $14,000, which is the S-Works right here. One comes in at $8,500. There's a massive price difference there of $5,500, and people wanna know where their money goes into with that. So, when we take a look at two of these bikes, one thing we obviously sell, this one has a nicer paint job, yes, but it also has an S-Works logo on it. S-Works is going to be Specialized top tier. They're cream of the crop. Look at like a Mercedes AMG, look at like a BMW M3, look at like any kind of companies out there, performance line. Whenever you see S-Works, you're going to see their top tier performance line. Specialized claims that their S-Works frames are going to be 685 grams, whereas on their Pro frames that they sell, they're going to come in at 780 grams frame right there. And what this means to the consumer is that these frames are identical in geometry of the two of them, identical in everything about the bicycle except for the layup which they're made in. How they produce the bikes, how they build them up with the carbon layup of the frame. So this one is the Pro bicycle, which is a 10R carbon fiber. This is their S-Works, which is their 12R carbon fiber. So this frame retails for $5,500. This frame retails for $3,500. So that's a $2,000 price point difference right there. Also with these bicycles, you can see the wheels look very, very similar on here. They are pretty similar, but there are some differences to the two of them. These are the Revol Rapide CL version. These wheels retail for, I believe, around $1,600. Then we have these wheels over here, which are the Revol Rapide CLX versions. Just one more letter, the X. I believe these things go for $2,800. These, again, are going to be their top tier, their cream of the crop wheels you can get. Everything dialed into the T. But looking at the two of the bikes, the rims are exactly the same. It just obviously doesn't have the decal on there, but the carbon layup of these rims are exactly the same. What goes into the difference is going to be the spokes and the hubs. The spokes on the cheaper model bike are going to be rounded, regular Sapum spokes, I believe, or maybe DT Swiss Champion spokes, but regular rounded spokes, not as aerodynamic as the bladed spokes. Also for the hubs, they're a DT Swiss 350 hub, which is more of a budget hub by DT Swiss. Whereas over in here, on the more expensive wheel set, we can see a little bit lighter wheel because there's less spokes in here, but also we have a bladed spoke, which is going to make this a little bit more aero when it's up to speed. Also we have in here Specialized's own Revol hubs, but it's basically a DT Swiss internal. So the company that makes those hubs are there, DT Swiss. These are the internals of their highest tier DT Swiss hub they have. They're DT Swiss 180 hubs. Basically the bearings that are inside of here and their axles are going to be DT Swiss 180s. What that means is that it's a ceramic bearing made by DT Swiss. So again, you're just getting the nicest of the nice on their top tier bike. Tires are exactly the same. S-Works 700 by 26Cs, S-Works 700 by 26Cs. No difference really there. But then we go to the cockpit. We have on here, which is a really still a very nice handlebar and stem combo. This is coming off the TARMAC SL7 stem and also the Revol Rapide handlebar. This is one of the bars that everyone could not find at all. And this was a really hard bar to find and still a very nice bar for consumers to buy. Like this is still a really stiff finding bar. The drops feel comfortable to be in. The hood shapes are nice, they're ergonomic. Those are a very nice situation, but these bars are gonna be $300 and the stem is gonna be about $100. Whereas we go over to here, this is their newest one-piece bar and stem combination by Specialized or by Revol. This is a $600 bar and stem configuration. It is a one-piece, so they say that it's lighter. I believe, I forget the exact claims on it, but I think it was like 40 or 60 grams difference, if I remember. So it is a lighter configuration. They also say because this is a one-piece full carbon fiber bar and stem, that's stiffer as well. There's no separation points. They're able to make this whole thing stiffer. So when you're sprinting, when you're climbing, and you're putting down pressure, you're throwing the bike back and forth, that this bike is going to handle a little bit better. And also they say this is more aerodynamic. But the only downside is that whatever bicycle you get, let's say you buy this 49, and you want to put 120 stem on here, that's not a swap out. You have to pay a $600 bar fee and then rewire your cables and brakes inside there as well. But this is a nicer, to me, this is a nicer bar and stem configuration. But again, that's where the money comes into play. So this is 600, we'll call this about 400 bucks, so there's a $200 difference there. Now we go to group sets. Now this is going to be a toss-up, but I will tell you there is obviously a price difference. On the most expensive bike, they have the SRAM Red. This is their creme de la creme in terms of group set. This is the lightest configuration you get. Everything on here is going to be carbon fiber as much as you can see. You get a power meter, you get everything you can. You get a very lightweight cassette and chain on there as well in SRAM Red. This group set with a power meter retails for around $4,300. Again, like I mentioned, the derailleur cage is carbon, the crank arms are carbon, everything they can do on this bike is carbon fiber. The cassette is much lighter than the Force as well. But again, this is where the biggest price difference is, I believe, on this bicycle. Whereas if we go over to the SRAM Force edition, which just got revamped and is actually a really good buy for the money, these levers are carbon fiber, the crank arms are carbon fiber, the cage is not carbon fiber, but you still get a nice dual-sided power meter as well on here. A little bit heavier cassette, a little bit heavier chain. This group set's about $2,600. Now, in terms of money, that's almost about another $2,000 price difference right there. So I know people are saying, hey, they're just throwing money. This bike cannot be anywhere near $4,000. In terms of prices of what everything is and list prices, it is adding up. But at the end of it, we'll draw a conclusion of what we think is worth it or not. But yes, $2,600, and I made countless videos of how to make this bike lighter if you wanted to. You can buy another $300 cassette by SRAM Red, put onto this bike, it'll be lighter, a SRAM Red chain if you wanted to, lighter rotors as well. But the group sets alone are different. Now, in terms of what they do, they're almost identical. Same software, same batteries, same parts pretty much inside there. The only thing really different is just hardware on the group sets. It's literally identical. The shift feeling, everything how it performs is identical to how it is. And the only difference is just going to be hardware on there. So that's another configuration there. Seat posts on these bikes are exactly the same. They don't make different grades of seat posts. If you buy a Pro frame, you get an S-Works seat post. They only make one seat post to sell, and there is no difference to the layup on there either. Now for the last thing we have on here is going to be the saddle as well. This one comes with their S-Works power saddle, the top tier, everything carbon fiber. You can see the body's carbon fiber, the rails are carbon fiber, a less padded level. This is a padding level 1. This is a $325 saddle. Which we go over this saddle here. This is going to be the exact same configuration, the exact same geometry, but this is going to be their Power Expert saddle. Titanium rails, plastic body, but this is a padding level 2. We can see this has a little bit more comfort to it. So this one is going to be heavier, but you might get more comfort out of a saddle like this, depending on how your riding is suited. Also, I just want to make a quick mention as well. The hubs on here, how they perform. This has a 36-tooth ratchet in here. A little bit more engagement, whereas this has like an 18-tooth ratchet here. But those are easily changed out. It's like $100 difference to choose whatever kind of ratchet you want inside of there. But when it comes down to it, like I mentioned before, these bikes are a $5,500 difference. Now, is it worth it? What is the difference? If you pay $5,500, are you going to get $5,500 more speed? That is a whole bicycle in some points. What could it be? I'm going to break it down to you like this, guys. And this is going to be a pretty simple analogy. But it's not word for word. It's like having a normal belt compared to a Gucci belt. They're both, at the end of the day, going to suit what you need to do. They're both going to ride in a nice group ride. They're both going to perform how you want them to perform, and it's going to come down to it. But with a Gucci belt, it's going to be a little bit flashier, and maybe it holds up a little bit nicer pants, if that makes sense. The S-Works, you do have a little bit difference in maybe the snappiest of the bike. It is a feeling that you feel like my whole niche is the massive marginal gains. It's something when you get on a bike, if you've been riding a bike for a long time, that you do feel a difference in the carbon layup. Is it going to make it to a point where it's going to take you from a riding level of a riding level B, let's say, to a riding level A? No. Is it going to be the reason why if you had this bike over this bike, you wouldn't get dropped in the group ride that day? Or would you win the race if you had this bike over this bike? I don't think so. Probably not, to be honest with you. Really what it's going to come down to is that how well you perform that day, And you might notice that maybe you feel a little bit fresher on this bike at the end of the ride, or maybe you're saying, oh, it just felt easier to close that gap as well. A lot of it is mental. But yeah, it's a full difference of $5,500. The bikes perform insanely well. They're the exact same aerodynamics you want to talk about, except for the blade spokes. These wheels are the exact same aerodynamics. The frame is the exact same aerodynamics. The bar is a little bit different, but you can do almost everything you want to do on this bike that you can on this bike. Actually, you can do everything you want to do on this bike as well. So it's just a difference of price points and parts in there of what the manufacturers are making it for. But everyone's always asking me the question, what is the difference between the Pro and S-Works? And hopefully this broke it down for you guys. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you again so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.